All right, so we're going to take a break from looking at individual companies and ranking them and scoring them. And we're going to put another tool in our investing toolbox. We're going to do a third intrinsic value calculator known as the discounted cash flow. This is arguably one of the most popular and sought after intrinsic value calculators. So I'm going to show you step by step how to build one of these out yourselves, how to find all the information to put into them. And so that way, when you're following along with my videos, you can maybe agree and disagree with what I have, and you can put in your own numbers and run intrinsic values for yourselves, or you can even look at companies that I don't cover on this channel, and you can see what their intrinsic value may or may not be. Because as Warren Buffett famously said, price is what you pay, but value is what you get. And so you may pay $100 for a stock, but if that company is only worth 80, you've overpaid for that company. All right. We want to know, what is that intrinsic value? Is it worth 80 bucks per share, or is it $150 per share? Are we getting ripped off, or are we getting a steal deal? So we're going to go through this step by step. I'm going to show you how to do this. If you get any value out of this video, please like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your mother-in-law. We'd love to have them join the channel and see how to build their own wealth and invest wisely themselves. So we're going to start off with a Google spreadsheet, and you may want to pause the video here and copy what I have. We're going to be filling this out with specific numbers for Google, and then you can put in your own numbers for Google yourselves if you disagree with what I put in, or you can do this for any other company that you might want to evaluate. So if you want to pause the video here, pull up a Google spreadsheet and copy all these values in, and we're going to fill these out, and I'll show you step by step how to compute the intrinsic value of a company. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to look it up on stockanalysis.com and look at statistics. Here in statistics, we're going to pull all the information that we need for Google. In particular, one of the most important things is we need to know what is their current free cash flow. So I'm going to scroll down here to cash flow. It's in the middle column toward the bottom, and we see we have free cash flow, 73.55 billion. Now what's important here is that we only use millions of dollars, millions of shares. We want to keep everything in terms of millions for how we build out this spreadsheet. So I'm going to convert 73.55 billion into millions, which is 73,550 million. So when I come here to my spreadsheet for current free cash flow, I'm going to put in, 73,550. Okay. Now, also in for Google, I'm going to put in its ticker, GOOGL, just so we remember what we're computing. And we want to approximate its growth rate. Now, how do we find its growth rate? Well, that's just guessing. And we don't know what the future holds, but we can look at what analysts think here on the stats page for Google. And analysts think that revenue is going to grow about 13%. EPS is going to grow 16 to 17% for the next 5 years, every single year. And so they're just guessing. They're making educated guesses, but in the end, they're still just guessing. And we're not saying that this is what free cash flow is doing, but we think that revenue and EPS are going to grow like that. So we're going to use those numbers as sort of a proxy for what we think the free cash flow is going to do for Google. So we're going to call it somewhere in the middle, and we're going to say it's 15% for our purposes. So for growth right here, I'm going to put in 15%. Okay. So what do I do with that information so far? What we're going to do is we're going to project the future free cash flow for Google starting at $73 billion and growing at 15% every single year. So this is where some formulas come in. So in cell D3, I'm going to say equals, I'm going to take its current cash flow, which is 73.55 billion or 73,550 million, and I'm going to multiply it by 1 plus the growth rate, which is 15%. Okay. The 1 makes sure that it's growing, and it's growing by what we add on to it, which is 15%. And I hit enter, and we get $84.5 billion of future free cash flow. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing for year 2. I'm going to say it's the previous future free cash flow, which is 84.5 billion. I'm also going to multiply that by parentheses 1 plus my 15%, which is sitting here in cell B2. I'm going to close my parentheses. Now, before I finish that, I'm going to put dollar signs around B and around 2. And what that's going to do is it's going to anchor and always point to 15%. All right, let me show you what happens when I don't do that. If I click and drag this formula all the way out here, what's happening, like if I click on 6 right here, it's not using 15% for my growth rate. It's using cell F2, which is 3. And that's not 3%, that's 300. We don't want to mess with that. We want it to always be that 15%. And so what we're going to do to fix that problem, we're going to erase all that, and we're going to say, when we have B2 here, we want it to always be cell B2. We want it to always be that growth rate of 15%. So now I'm going to click and drag this all the way through year 9, like so. Okay, we're not going to go to year 10, we're just going to go to year 9. Now, to be more consistent with how we've done things on this channel before, we're going to assume that it does grow 15% every single year for the first 5 years of our analysis. After all, that's what stockanalysis.com is doing. These are revenue and EPS growth forecasts for 5 years. To say that Google's going to grow 15% every single year for 10 years is a little bold of a statement to make. And so starting at year 6, we're not going to do the full 15%. We're going to cut that by what we're going to call the scaling factor. And for other videos, we've used 0.5. Okay, so for years 1 through 5, we're growing it by 15%. Years 6 through 9, we're only going to grow it by 7.5%. And so you can see now when I click on cell J3, it's I3, the previous free cash flow, plus 1 plus my 15%, but now that 15% is cut in half. It's being multiplied by 0.5. So it's not growing by 15%, it's only growing by 7.5%. Why do we do that? We want to be cautious, we want to be conservative. Yes, we are optimistic when we are investors, but we're not going to assume in a foolish manner that Google is going to grow 15% every single year for 10 years. That is just downright silly. Okay, so that's just how we do things on this channel. We want to bake in margins of safety so that we don't get too optimistic, because that will only lead to disappointment. So how do we compute the terminal value of Google? First off, what is the terminal value? The terminal value of a company is if Google does its thing forever, if they grow as a company, what free cash flow are they going to earn forever? Okay, now typically perpetual growth rates are about 3%. We use 3% on this channel. Other channels, other free cash flow models might use something like 2.5%, 3.5%. Who knows? It's basically inflation. We're going to call it 3%. And so the perpetual growth rate is what the future free cash flow was at year 9 times parentheses 1 plus that perpetual growth rate. So I'm going to click on cell B4 divided by parentheses. And now on the bottom here, I'm going to put the discount rate, which we haven't put in yet, but we typically put 8%, minus the perpetual growth rate, which is 3%, close parentheses. Now, when I hit enter, this is going to give a wacky number. It's going to give something quite large and quite negative. That's because we haven't put in the discount rate. Now, remember what the discount rate is. It's what we would get in other investments. Like if we didn't invest in Google, we would want something about 8% instead, right? And so the discount rate is typically between 8 to 10% for very well-established companies. And I can't think of a more well-established company than Google, right? It's one of the biggest companies in the world. They dominate search. They are getting into the AI space. Google is Google. It's amazing. So we're going to use 8% for the discount rate. Again, 8 to 10% for very well-established companies, 12 to 15% for riskier plays, small cap companies that don't really have a solid future ahead of them. You want to have a bigger discount to make sure that you get a bigger return on your money for something that might bake in more inherent risk. So now we need the present value. If we look at year 6, this is not $159 billion in today's dollars. This is $159 billion 6 years from now, which is a lot different in today's dollars. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill out the present value of all these companies. And that present value is based on the discount rate that we assign for our money, which in this example is 8%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say equals. I'm going to click above to the future free cash flow at year 1, 84.5 billion. and I'm going to divide that by 1 plus the discount rate, which is here in cell B3, 8%, and I'm going to raise that to the power 1. All right. Why 1? Because that's 1 year from now. And so I'm going to raise that to this number up here, 1. The only thing I need to do is put dollar signs around B and around 3 to make sure that it is always this discount rate of 8%. And so now when I click and drag this to the right, here at year 2, if I highlight my formula, I'm taking the future free cash flow of $97.2 billion. I'm dividing it by 1 plus 8%, so I'm giving it my discount rate. But now I'm raising it to the power 2 in the denominator. I'm squaring it because that is 2 years of growth. And for those of you hip to algebra and how exponential functions work, we're just assuming exponential growth. So that's why we are squaring it. And then we will be cubing it for year 3 to the 4th to the 5th power, etc. So this formula is all set and ready to go. I'm going to click and drag this all the way over, and we see all of our future free cash flows in this line and the present value of those future free cash flows right here. All right. Now you might want to, based on your preferences, highlight all these values, maybe stick a dollar sign out in front, maybe just look at the nearest whole number, so knock off a couple decimal places, just to emphasize that this is in fact money. So now we have a lot of the mathy stuff built out into the spreadsheet. So now we want to see what is the intrinsic value of Google. Now, before we do that, I realize we're missing one thing here. So I'm going to right click on row 6. I'm going to insert one row above. We're going to do the sum of the free cash flows. Okay. So what we want to do is add up all of these present values of all the future cash flows. All right. So equals sum, parentheses, and I'm just going to click and drag all of these values. And that gives us all of the free cash flow for the future in perpetuity. So since we've computed the terminal value, we add all those up and we get about $2.7 trillion is the sum of all the future free cash flows. Okay. Now, cash and cash equivalents. This is something that we also need to pull from stockanalysis.com. So here on the stats page for Google, I come down here to, where is it? I come down here to balance sheet. Cash and cash equivalents, Google currently has $98.5 billion in cash and cash equivalents. So I'm going to, again, convert that to millions. So I'm going to call that 98,500. Total debt, how much money do they owe? That is also in the balance sheet of Stock Analysis's stat sheet on Google. Total debt, 44.2 billion. We're going to convert that also into millions, 44,200. So now we can get down to business and find out what is the equity value for Google. So I'm going to say equals. How do we compute that? What we're going to do is we're going to take the total free cash flow, the sum of all those cash flows. We're going to add the cash and cash equivalents, and we're going to subtract out the total debt. Okay, so add the sum of all the cash flows, add the cash and cash equivalents, and subtract the total debt. All these in millions of dollars, and we get an equity value of $2.78 trillion. All right. Again, we might want to highlight these and call them dollar signs, put them in currency of dollars, knock off all the decimal places to keep it sort of clean looking, maybe widen that cell out, that row, or rather that column out a bit. Okay. This is how much Google is currently worth altogether, $2.78 trillion. That's their equity value. But if you only have 1 or 2 shares, you don't own that much Google. You own just a fraction of it. So we need to divide that by how many shares outstanding there are. How many shares of Google are there out there in the market? That's also something that we can find on our stats page of stockanalysis.com. If we come here to share statistics, we see that there are 12.07 billion shares of Google out there. That's a lot. Okay. So if you own 1 or 2 or 5 shares of Google, fantastic. You barely own anything because there are over 12 billion shares of Google out there on the market. So we're going to put that in here. We're going to put, again, in millions, 12,070. Okay. And so we can finally compute the intrinsic value. We take the total equity value and we divide that by shares outstanding. And we can see that Google is currently worth intrinsically $231. Now, how does that stack up to Google's current price? Well, we can say current price. Okay. That can be found using Google Finance. And so I can say equals Google Finance, and then I can click on Google, and then in parentheses put in price. Now remember, the default metric, the default asset for Google Finance is the price anyway. That's okay. So currently Google is trading for $313.51. Let's also call that currency and knock off a couple decimal places. And so finally we can compute the margin of safety. Okay, how do we compute the margin of safety? It is equal to, parentheses, what we think the intrinsic value is minus the current price divided by what we think the intrinsic value is. And we can see, based on these calculations, based on the future free cash flow for Google, if we convert this to a decimal and we maybe just do one decimal place, we are seeing that Google is currently 36% overvalued. There is no margin of safety. As a matter of fact, at the current price of $314, you are paying a 36% premium for Google. So that's quite a bit. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put some colors in and make this look a little bit more presentable, a little nicer. But that's essentially it. So you probably don't want to watch me doing that. So I'm just going to pause it real quick. I'll come back. Just a quick reminder though, if you want to like this video, if you got anything out of it, if you want to subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate that. And again, we're not saying that you should not buy Google. If you believe in Google stock, then by all means have at it. This is just for entertainment and informational purposes only. Nothing on this channel is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I am not your financial advisor. You need to do what is best for your financial future and building your own wealth. Okay, so finally I sort of spruced up the spreadsheet a little bit, added some color, added some borders, and I also ran some numbers for Microsoft. So for the next 5 years, Microsoft is expected, is expected to grow 17%. We gave them a discount rate of 8% because they are a solid company. Perpetual growth rate at 3%. Current free cash flow is $78 billion. So we add them all up, $3.2 trillion company. Cash and cash equivalents of 102 billion, total debt of 120 billion. So we get an equity value of about $3.2 trillion. Divide that by shares outstanding, and we get intrinsically $432. They are currently trading for $488. So we see that still a margin of safety of 12.8% premium. All right. So we're not getting any discount. We're not getting any safety for buying Microsoft right now. It is a quality company. Microsoft is phenomenal. But right now, we are waiting for that price to come below $432. If it does reach $432, then that doesn't mean that it's a safe buy. That just means that there is no margin of safety. When the intrinsic value and the current price match up, that means that basically the market is pricing that company for what it's worth, and you probably don't want to buy it at that value. You want it to go even lower. You want the current price to be well below the intrinsic value. So anyway, that is the free cash flow model, the discounted cash flow model. The third tool that we'll put in our toolbox for computing intrinsic value calculations. And from here on out, when we compute intrinsic values, we will be doing the PE multiples ratio model. We will be doing the discounted cash flow, and we'll be doing the dividend discount model if the company that we are looking at has a healthy, strong dividend. So thanks for paying attention. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everybody you can think of. I appreciate you watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.